Bhakta Vrinda Vande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisha Nishavatarakan Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahoditau Gaurudaye Pushpavanatau Chitrau Sandau Tamonudau Granthera Arambha Kori Mangalacharana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinira Smarana Hoya Vigana Vinashana Anayasa Safal Nija Vanchita Purana Jaya Jaya Kripa Moy Jagatirana Sarva Jagatera Kora Shubhadishtipat Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaham Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Śrī Caitanya Ishwaram Shri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Yara Asha Caitanya-caritāmṛta Kahe Krishna Dasa Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, and as per everyone's kind of recommendation, and the new year has started, so we decided that we'll begin Canto 10 of Srimad-Bhāgavatam. So we'll start that from tomorrow, and going forward on Tuesday to Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll read Bhagavatam study, and Mondays we'll read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Saturdays we have Bhagavad Gita, and Sunday we have other guest devotees giving nectar. So let's begin chapter 5, the glories of Lord Nityananda Balarāma. So chapter 4 was about Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, confidential reasons, mainly the 3 internal reasons. And we discuss a lot about Srimati Radharani as well, and the topmost love and what she experiences. And of course, about the Supreme Lord and Shri Krishna Chaitanya is basically Radha Krishna Nayanya. So they've come together as in one body. So let's read about Lord Balarāma in this wonderful chapter. This chapter is chiefly devoted to describing the essential nature and the glories of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Shri Krishna is the absolute personality of Godhead, and his first expansion in the form of for pastimes is Shri Balarāma. Beyond the limitation of this material world is the spiritual sky, Paravyoma, which has many spiritual planets, the supreme of which is called Krishna Loka. Krishna Loka, the abode of Krishna, has 3 divisions, which are known as Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokula. In that abode, the personality of Godhead expands himself into 4 plenary portions: Krishna, Pradyumna, the transcendental Cupid, and Aniruddha. They are known as original quadruple forms. In Krishna Loka is a transcendental place known as Shweta Dvipa or Vrindavan. Below Krishna Loka is in the spiritual sky are the Vaikuntha planets. On each Vaikuntha planet, a 4-handed Narayana expanded from the first quadruple manifestation is present. The personality of Godhead, known as Shri Balarāma in Krishna Loka, is the original Sankarshana, the attracting deity. And from this Sankarshana expands another Sankarshana called Mahasankarshana, who resides in one of the Vaikuntha planets. By his internal potency, Mahasankarshana maintains the transcendental existence of all the planets in the spiritual sky, where all the living beings are eternally liberated souls. The influence of the material energy is conspicuous there by its absence. On those planets, the second quadruple manifestation is present. Outside the Vaikuntha planets is the impersonal manifestation of Shri Krishna, which is known as Brahma Loka. On the other side of Brahmaloka is the spiritual Karana Samudra, or the causal ocean. The material energy exists on the other side of the causal ocean without touching it. In the causal ocean is Mahavishnu, the original Purusha expansion from Sankarshana. Mahavishnu places his glance over the material energy, and by a reflection of his transcendental body, he amalgamates himself with the material elements. As the source of the material elements, the material energy is known as Pradhana. And as a source of the manifestations of the material energy, it is known as Maya. But material nature is inert in that she has no independent power to do anything. She is empowered to make the cosmic manifestation by the glance of Mahavishnu. Therefore, the material energy is not the original cause of the material manifestation. Rather, the transcendental glance of Mahavishnu over the material nature produces this cosmic manifestation. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So we're reading the summary. It's about 2 pages. I'll maybe pause here. Not going in detail now because we are going to cover in detail while we read the verses by Śrī Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So at this point, we can just read the rest of the summary if anyone wants to read from this paragraph.
I can read, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
Mahavishnu again enters every universe. Dandavat Pranam devotee, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Mahavishnu again enters every universe as the reservoir of all living entities, Garbhodakshai Vishnu. From Garbhodakshai Vishnu expands Shirodakshai Vishnu, the super soul of every living entity. Garbhodakshai Vishnu also has his own Vaikuntha planet in every universe, where he lives as the super soul or supreme controller of the universe. Garbhodakshai Vishnu reclines in the midst of the watery portion of the universe and generates the first living creature of the universe, Brahma. The imaginary universal form is a partial manifestation of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. On the Vaikuntha planet in every universe is an ocean of milk, and within that ocean is an island called Shvetadvipa, where Lord Vishnu lives. Therefore, this chapter describes 2 Shvetadvipas, one in the abode of Krishna and the other in the ocean of milk in every universe. The Shvetadvipa in the abode of Krishna is identical with Vrindavan Dham, which is the place where Krishna appears himself to display his loving pastimes. In the Shvetadvipa within every universe is a Shesha form of Godhead who serves Vishnu by assuming the form of his umbrella, slippers, couch, pillows, garments, residence, sacred thread, throne, and so on. Lord Baladeva in Krishna Loka is Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, Nityananda Prabhu is the original Sankarshana and Mahasankarshana, and his expansions as the Purushas in the universes are plenary expansions of Nityananda Prabhu. In this chapter, the author has described the history of his leaving home for a personal pilgrimage to Vrindavan and his achieving all success there. In this description, it is revealed that the author's original paternal home and birthplace were in the district of Katwa in the village of Jhamtapura, which is near Naihati. Krishnadas Kaviraj's brother invited Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, a great devotee of Lord Nityananda, to his home, but a priest named Gunarnava Mishra did not receive him well. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's brother, not recognizing the glories of Lord Nityananda, also took sides with the priest. Therefore, Ramdas became sorry, broke his flute, and went away. This was a great disaster for the brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. But on that very night, Lord Nityananda Prabhu himself graced Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in a dream and ordered him to leave on the next day for Vrindavan. So today is also Lochan Das Thakur's day, and it's supposed he wrote the Parama Karuna song, and he wrote Chaitanya Mangal. So lucky to read this Chaitanya Caritāmṛta today. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. So I guess when we come to the verses, we'll go in more details. This is a lot of details are there about the universe, the structure of the universe, and Lord Balarāma. So let's start with the first verse. Yes, Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Dhamma Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Text 1. Vandehananta adbhuta sharjam Sri Nityananda jasya saya tat sharupam aggananapi nirupate. Translation by His Divine Grace, S.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada with joy. Let me offer my obeisances to Lord Sri Nityananda, the Supreme Person of Godhead, whose opulence is wonderful and unlimited. By His will, even a fool can understand His identity. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So this wonderful verse, which is basically a prayer to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, offering obeisance. This is Vande Ananta. Ananta means no anta. Anta means end or limited, but Nityananda Prabhu is ananta, is unlimited. Ananta Shesha, and in his service is unlimited, his expansions are unlimited. Adbhuta, Ananta Adbhuta. Adbhut means is divine, it's transcendental, wonderful. Aishwaryam. Ananta Adbhuta Aishwaryam. Aishwarya means opulence. 6 opulences we talk about. Śrī Nityanandam Ishwaram. It's quite straightforward here. He is Ishvara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yasya Ichchāya. Yasya Ichchāya. Yasya means whose, or by his Ichcha, by his desires, that Swarupam can be his Swarupa, or that identity. Agye napi nirupyate. Agyeya. It means those who are fool, those who are ignorant, those who don't have any knowledge about all this. By his mercy can that his identity be revealed. So not by academic learning, not by memorizing verses, not by doing PhD on Nityananda Prabhu, but it is by his will. Krishna chooses to reveal. Spiritual knowledge is not like a commodity. Anything in spiritual life is not, spiritual thing is not, we cannot obtain it. We can receive it by the mercy of Guru, Sadhu, Krishna. We cannot buy it. Material things can be bought. Like you pay $10, you get a product which is worth $10. You pay $100, you get a product which is worth $100. But spiritual life, it is not like that. Spiritual life is spiritual bhakti is received when we serve sincerely, when we show our sincerity, when we show, like I think yesterday, Nityaṁ Mataji was telling the same point, like about taste in chanting. Taste is chanting is not a commodity which we can, buy with or prove it that yes, I am the right. We can show our sincerity by trying sincerely, and by seeing that, Krishna will be pleased and give that, or Guru will be pleased and give that. Same for any other taste in seva, taste in anything. So spiritual, everything is received when we please Guru Sadhu Shastra through our action, through our words, through our behavior, through our sincerity, seriousness, etc. So even a fool can understand his identity. And that's what we say. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Even a blind can see, the lame can cross over mountain, pangum langayate girim, so etc. And then we all know that multiple verses that Nityananda is the Adi Guru. So we can also remember this verse. Yasse chatat swarupam agyeya napi nirupyate. So let's pray to Lord Nityananda so that his identity can be revealed to us by the medium of Guru Sadhu Shastra. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa devotees, Dandat Pranam, all close to Srila Prabhupada. I think this is also Prabhuji always it's a prayer. Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. All glories to Sri Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Bol. Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji. Back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So I think this is very, very widely spoken and heard verse before every class, practically. With the Nityānanda class, this is spoken. I think Lakshya knows a very similar verse which talks about all these personalities. Lakshya, do you know that verse?
Yes, Prabhuji. Advaita Acharya Nityananda Srinivasa Gadadhara Damodara Murali Haridasa
Arayata.
Yeah, Arayata Chaitanya Krishnara Bhaktagana Bhakti Bhave Shri Dari Sabara Charana.
Wonderful. You know the meaning also?
Like a little bit, Prabhuji, it's like the first verse, like Advaita Acharya, that verse is like saying all of their names, and then the second one is like saying I think it's saying Lord Chaitanya's like opulences or something like that.
Arayata Chaitanya Krishnara Bhaktagana, and to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna, Bhakti Bhave Shirodhari, Sabara Charana, I place there my head at their lotus feet with a lot of devotion. Because this is, if we look at the beauty of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, before he begins any chapter, he's offering multiple prayers. This is what, in ISKCON, every class begins with prayers. Because without prayers, so in every service actually, whether we do any service, whether it's cooking or offering bhoga or chanting or any service, any yajna, anything for that matter, if we are doing a service, it should begin with prayers, it should end with prayers. So we see that in every chapter actually, right? So it's beginning with offering obeisances and prayers to those personalities, to those devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because it is only by their mercy the spiritual knowledge is revealed. So Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is offering prayers and obeisance to all these associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what Lakshya what recited was from chapter 4 only, which I think we recently did 226 and 227, I believe. So if anyone else got a chance to learn those two? 227 and 228. Anyone else learned those two verses? No worries, no pressure. If it's totally your call, we'll move on to next verse. Anyone wants to read text 3? Yes, Lakshay, can you read, please? Text 3.
Yes, Guruji. I say loke kahela Krishna Chaitanya Mahima Panchasloke kahi Nityananda Tattva Shima. Translation: I have described the glory of Śrī Krishna Chaitanya in 6 verses. Now in 5 verses I shall describe the glory of Lord Nityananda. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. It's quite straightforward here. So basically, this is the elaboration. Shat. This is Shat. Shat Shloke. Shat Shloke means 6 verses. Shloka means verse. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has explained 1 point, Adilila 1.1 to 1.6, the 6 verses about Lord Chaitanya's Mahima, the glories of Lord Chaitanya, primarily in chapter number 4. In 4 chapters, he has only basically covered the first 6 verses. Okay. First 4 chapters are the first 6 verses of the explanation or elaboration of the first 6 verses. Now the next 5 verses, Pancha means 5. Pancha shloke kahi Nityananda tattva sima. So Lord Nityananda's tattva is explained in this chapter. This chapter meaning chapter number 5, which we are starting now. This is primarily about Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So let's see, text number 4. Yes, Vasati Mataji, on to read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavat Pranam everyone. Take 4. Sarva Avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tar Ditiyo Deho Sri Balarāma. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I think I should read text 4. No,
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, text 4. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balarāma is his second body. Purport: Lord Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the primeval Lord, the original form of Godhead, and his first expansion is Sri Balarāma. The personality of Godhead can expand himself in innumerable forms. The forms that have unlimited potency are called Swamsa, and forms that have limited potencies, the living entities, are called Vivinnangsha. So here in this beautiful verse, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he also mentioned in the previous verse too, that Lord Krishna is the avatari, and he is the fountainhead of all the incarnations. And Lord Balarāma, Sri Nityananda Mahāprabhu, is the second expansion of Lord Krishna. And Krishna is has unlimited potential, which is called Swamsha or Angsha, and the living entities like us are his Vivinnangsha, means part and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are the living entities. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Very well. Thank you so much, Mataji. Sarva Avatari. All the avatars come from the Supreme Lord. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. A lot of people have this doubt and consider Narayana as the Sarva Avatari or Lord Rama as the Sarva Avatari, etc., etc. But very, very clearly mentioned here, Sarva Avatari. Ramadi Murtishu Kalani Amin Atishtan. Nana avataram akaro Bhuvnesh kintu Krishna swayam sambhava paramah vanyo Govindamadi Purusham. It's not that one great sage is saying that. There are hundreds and hundreds of all the great souls. Lord Brahma speaking the same thing. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami speaking the same thing. All the the great souls come to the same conclusion only, that Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. He is the primeval cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam. And it includes all the expansions, whether the Swamshas or the Vibhinamshas. And Lord Balarāma is the second body. Dvitiya is second, Deha means body. So basically there, in one way, there is no, they both are the same, and then the second body. So there is very little difference. Let's see what further, text number 5.
So, Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji. So, Radha Krishna ekama dui deha dhari. So, Radharani is not the expansion. Balarāma is the expansion of him. So, Radharani is a part of his body. Is that understanding is okay? Or
Ultimately, Radharani is the internal pleasure, the chief of the internal pleasure potency. The thing we discussed as the Shakti Tattva, right? So, in a separate category, Shakti Tattva, the internal pleasure potency. So ultimately, everything is coming from the Supreme Lord only. That also includes Srimati Radharani, also the expansion of the Supreme Lord. For what? For to help in the pleasure pastimes. What's that verse? Lila Rasahaya. I'm forgetting that verse. Anyonena vilasa Lila Rasahaya. Radha Krishna Eka Matra Duhidaya Dhari Anyonena vilasa.
রস আস্বাদন করি অনন্য বিলাসে আস্বাদন
Rasa Aswadan, yeah, to experience that rasa. So yeah, so it's a different it's a Shakti Tattva to help in the, and Lord Balarāma is also actually serving in all the rasas. I think it will come later. He's serving in all the 5 rasas as Shantya Dasya Sakhya Vatsalya Madhurya. In all the 5 rasas he's serving. Maybe the devotees want to add or correct. Mataji, Prabir Prabhu, you want to share any thoughts, additional comments, Sudhir Prabhu, or any other devotee?
Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhu, His Grace Nayan Abhiram Prabhu, when he was present that week, he made one nice point. He stated that some of the things we cannot understand, but we have to just accept it. The reason I'm saying that, if you take it as a science, Radha Krishna ekatma dui deha dhari. Normally, Krishna and Atma and Krishna is same. Like we say that Dehi and Deha abhinna. But in our case, it's different. My Atma and Prabhir name is not different. We are different. Atma is different. My name is different. But Radha Krishna ekatma dui deha dhari. If you think about too much in that way, then Radharani is same as Krishna. It's getting into like Vishnu Datta, but our acharyas didn't say that. So my humble understanding is what Nabinam Prabhu said, I'm not in that position to too much going into clarification or detail, but just accept it what is our acharyas are saying. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Back to
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, these are certainly very, very esoteric, and so okay, so we'll read next verse, text number 5. Yes, Sampada Mataji.
Hare Krishna, text 5. Ekai swarupa tone bhinna matra kaya adya kaya vyuha Krishna lila rasahaya. Translation. These two are one and the same identity. They differ only in form. Lord Balarāma is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. Purport. Balarāma is a swamsa expansion of the Lord, and therefore there is no difference in potency between Krishna and Balarāma. The only difference is in their bodily structure. As the first expansion of Godhead, Balarāma is the chief deity among the first quadruple forms, and he is a foremost assistant of Shri Krishna in his transcendental activities. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, back to you.
Very well, thank you so much. So yeah, this verse kind of talks on the similar point as we were discussing. Ekai swarupa donha bhinna matra kaya. So kaya and deha are quite similar. Bhinna kaya or dvitiya deha. So the difference is in the form only. And we know that famous pastime when a few of Prabhupada disciples were kind of having this discussion that I don't know the exact names of the disciples having this discussion.
Yamuna Mataji. Yamuna
Yeah,
Mataji.
you want to narrate that? Mataji, pastime, I don't remember the details. Sure, please.
So Yamuna Mataji, and I don't remember, but I'll tell, maybe I'll remember later. One more Prabhu was asking Prabhupada. Yamuna Mataji said that Prabhu said, but are Krishna and Balaram different or they are the same? So this is what the topic was. The Prabhu said Krishna and Balaram are definitely different. And Mataji said, no, and Prabhupada said, you're right. And then Mataji said, but Prabhupada, you say that they're different because Radharani is only having Leelas with Krishna. Prabhupada said, you're right. And then Prabhu said, but Prabhupada, you just told me I'm right and you're telling her she's right. We have different points. So Prabhupada said, yes, you're right. And then Prabhu was completely baffled and Prabhupada said, you decide. So it's up to us to really relish the mellows with our heart and not intelligence, I guess. Back to you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing that sweet pastime. And so many points are there in this that this thing Prabhu was reiterating that we cannot, what to speak of we, Brahmaji himself speaks that he cannot understand this. He's a great Mahajan. He is the chief engineer of this whole world, the chief creator, the secondary creator. He cannot understand or gets baffled in understanding of the Supreme Lord. What to speak of ordinary jivas like all of us. So yeah, we cannot understand that about all these, but yet we have to try our best by Prabhupada's purports, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's verses, etc. How Srila Prabhupada is explaining so nicely. We should certainly try our best to so yes, so the different form of One is, and in the temples also we see.
The other
Krishna
person was Tamal Krishna Goswami.
Krishna
Hare
Maharaj. Okay, thank you, Mataji, for sharing. In spiritual life, there is so much, variegatedness and unity in variegatedness. So it's not that only one thing could be right at one time. 10 things could be right at one time. That's also very important. So we should not and in situations where we see that, like this is multiple things could be simultaneously correct. That's what she shared this beautiful pastime. So Lila Rasahaya, again this word Lila Rasahaya, to help in Krishna's pastime. Again, the goal is to serve the Supreme Lord in multiple pastimes, in all the rasas. Krishna is dark, like a dark monsoon cloud, and Balarāma is white. There are a lot of sweet pastimes also, the notorious pastimes between Krishna and Balarāma. That when these Rasik Vaishnavas share that one time Balarāma was joking with Krishna that actually you're not the son of Nanda Baba. They adopted you because you are dark. We all are white. How come you come here? Like that he would joke. And then he would have a lot of pranks. But the whole objective is that sometimes he would act like a brother, elder brother, like a father. Sometimes he would act like a servant. The famous pastime where, and sometimes he would take superior roles, sometimes as a, and in all these paraphernalias, mridanga, harmonium, etc. But also expansions of Balarāma, which is going to come in the later verses, I believe. And of course, Ananga Manjari, Radharani's younger sister, were serving in the Madhura Rasa as well. So Lila Rasahaya, all these are Leelas of the Supreme Lord, and Lord Balarāma is doing Sahayata, or helping, assisting in all these wonderful pastimes with only one purpose, to give pleasure to the Supreme Lord and his devotees. The first bodily expansion, Adya Kaya Vyuha. So Vyuha, Kaya Vyuha, the quadruple expansions, Adya. So it's the original quadruple expansions. That's the meaning of Adya. Adi Antavanta. Adi is origin. So Adi, Adya, Kaya Vyuha, the Chaturvyuha. So he's the original deity of the quadruple. And the foremost assistant or servant. Okay. Let's read next verse, text 6. Who has not got chance today yet? Wants to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can read.
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. Text 6. Śrī Krishna Navadvipe Śrī Caitanya Chandra, Śrī Balarāma Sange Śrī Nityananda. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada, Jai Śrīla Prabhupada. That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya, and Balarāma appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. So we know that Krishna's first expansion in Vrindavan, that is Balarāma. And then Balarāma's expansions in Dwarka, that is 4 quadruple. And then from Vasudev Sankarshan, Pradyumna Aniruddha. Then from that Sankarshan, comes the Narayan in Vaikuntha. From that Narayan, second quadruple comes again Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And then from that Sankarshan comes the Purusha avatars. So here, when Mahaprabhu came in 1486. And 12 years before, Sri Nityananda Prabhu came, actually, Ekachakrakam. So Balarāma is the Guru, and we know that even in Mother Devaki's womb, Balarāma came and he made the arrangement so that Krishna can come there. The same here. Sri Nityananda Prabhu didn't come in Navadvip, but he came in Ekachakra, in Greater Bengal. And then he made every arrangements for that to Mahaprabhu to come. Hare Krishna Prabhu, back to you. Is said or correct?
Thank you so much, Bro. It's a very nice bhajan also to just open. Krishna Narottam Das Thakur, Hari Hari, Vipaleja Nama, Gunai. In the third paragraph also he says, Brajendra Nandana Jai, Sachisuta Hoila Sai, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. The same Brajendra Nandana, that means the son of Nandanandana, the son of Nanda or Krishna, Nandanandana. Sachisuta, he became Sachisuta, means the son of Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra. And the same Balaram Hoilo Nitai. Lord Balaram became Nitai, as we read in this verse as well. Text number 6. The original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya or Sachisuta, and Balaram appeared as Lord Nityananda. Say Krishna Navadvipe Śrī Caitanya Chandra, say Balaram Sange Śrī Nityananda. So quite similar, this same paraphrased. And therefore all these Vaishnava bhajans are not just some poems. They have a lot of deep philosophy along with the rasas. So Dina Hina Jata Chela Harinam Uddhari Latara Sakshi Jagat Mada. They came to deliver the most fallen by the medium of the holy name. And is there any proof? Well, the proof Sakshi, the proof is Jagai and Madai, who were the lowest, the wretched of all. And the holy name delivered all these, the most wretched, the most lowly, Jagai and Madai. And we know that famous pastime how Lord Nityananda Prabhu was attacked. Was blood oozing out from his forehead, but so merciful. Especially Nityananda Prabhu, like Balarāma showed a lot of, that the tolerance what Nityananda Prabhu showed is extraordinary. Balarāma is still, with his club, did a lot of kind of killing of the demons and fighting also. But Nityananda Prabhu, with the same Balarāma, Mar Khai Prem De, right? This other bhajan of Nityananda Thakur comes, though only Thai Chaitanya Vole Nacharya Amar. Mar Khai Prem De. Mar Kha ke kaun prem de sakta? Only Lord Chaitanya Nityananda and his pure devotees. Generally, what people do, tit for tat. If someone speaks harsh to me, I'll speak 10 harsh words. If someone tries to hurt me, I'll try to hurt. Right? That's a normal tendency, tit for tat. But Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, Mar Khai Prem De. Parama Karuna Pahodui Jana Nitai Gaurachandra. All these verses talk about the same thing. How magnanimous are these two personalities who appeared in the Navadvipa as Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Same Krishna Balarāma came as Chaitanya Nityananda. Therefore, in all the temples, Prabhupada, established Pretty much all the temples, anywhere we go, we will see Gaur Nitai deity. We may not see Krishna Balarāma deities everywhere. We'll see at some places where Gaur Nitai, even in the homes of the devotees, Prabhupada highly recommended that because they are so merciful. I was with His Holiness Mahavishnu Maharaj last month. I was talking to him, get a chance to drive him to multiple places, programs. So I got a lot of opportunity to interact by his causeless mercy. So he was mentioning this story that Prabhupada so openly, Prabhupada said, okay, you can even distribute Gaur Nitai deities on the street and say that they are like good luck dolls. So much merciful, so much merciful. So yet at the same time that we should, that time and situation was a little different, but we should do our best to understand that we are serving the Supreme Lord and try our best to serve them to the best of our capacity, because they are non-different from Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna, Balarāma, same God with that, same to the name of Nityananda. So these are the first 6 verses which talk about the prayers and the obeisance to the Lord before Krishna Kaviraj Goswami begins to talk about the tattva in more detail. Any thoughts, any comments, additions, as before we pause for today?
Prabhu, I want to,
yeah, please, sorry.
I want to share one bhajan by Lochandas Thakur. It was saying that Nitai Gunamoni amar Nitai Gunamoni Aniya Premero Bonya Bashaila Avani Premer Bonya Loya Nitai Aila Goro Deshe Dubilo Bhakoto Jano Dino Hino Bhashe. Means Nityananda Prabhu brought the flood of prem. But it was so unfortunate that some of the devotees, Dubilo Bhakato Jana, the devotees, they dove into that prema bonya, the flood of love. But the Dinohino Bhashe, the Dinohino, they didn't, so they were floating. So then Nityananda Prabhu, what he did, Dinohino Potito Pa Mora Nahi Bache. Then he started that, okay, I'm not going to judge any Dinohino Potito Pamor. Brahmaro Dullabha Dhano Shobakare Jache. So he started going to Dinohino because they didn't come. So he started going to them, like when there is a flood, the flood doesn't discriminate that it's a good man's house, it's a bad people's house. It goes everywhere. So he started going to, and what he was giving, Brahmar Dullabh Prem. With Brahma even cannot get it. That Prem Shobakare Jache. Means he didn't see that, okay, this person is eligible or this person is not eligible. He started giving it to like everybody. So that's what this Nityananda Prabhu greatness. Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhu.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhu. That's excellent. Okay, so we can meditate upon these verses, and as I mentioned in the beginning, we will start reading Canto 10 from tomorrow onwards. So thank you for your wonderful association. Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Śrī Krishna Kaviraj Goswami Mahāprabhu ki jai, Samaveta Gaurabhakta ki jai, Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripasindubhya evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.